How are you supposed to be the one that introduces everything? Introduce something.
Welcome to Watch and Complain with the Phil
And
the Rob.
Hulk Hogan.
Bobble Robble.
It should be. I think it
That would be your call sign. Everyone's just like saying Bobble Robble.
Bobblehead.
Get Bobble Robble over here.
Look, Rob's head's been blown apart. It's just bobbling down the fucking beach. Oh,
Is that right? Is it Bobble Robble?
It started with, it was my Xbox call sign back when, not call sign, I say call sign like it means something.
You used to play Ace Combat.
When I had an Xbox 360, I would play something against my brother.
Halo.
Yeah, I
Bobble
picked
Robble.
Bobble Rob. I'm like, it's pretty funny. So that's isn't that an interesting story? I started with this name, and then I just, I'll use that.
So which name to use on Twitter? Because I'm still confused all the time.
I got asked today
There's two of
about
them.
what my Twitter was. I was like, I legitimately do not remember. But if you do find it, I don't think I posted like 2.5 years.
Just
so
make sure that
good
if
luck.
you are looking for his Twitter, that you look at the picture because it.
I should start a new one and have like
should.
call it like, because I think right now it's
go
just,
back and find one of your old ones and start using it. You have one from the Marvel Live.
Oh yeah, I must have,
That
yeah.
was the last post.
The Marvel Live, which is 2016.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad. That was a good show, that Marvel Live. I enjoyed it.
Today we're talking about something that Rob was very excited.
Phil was pissing and moaning that I was spiking, so hopefully I don't spike the audio.
So far, so good.
You know what I need is chapstick.
Maybe that's my problem. I don't use chapstick ever.
You shouldn't eat it. Your problem is you eat the chapstick.
I lick my lips seductively
You got to do that while we're doing the podcast.
all the time.
Rob, what was your favorite part of Obi Wan?
It should be a drinking game. Phil licks his lips. Take a shot.
Rob fucking rubs his nose because he's a big coke addict. I guarantee
You told me not to talk about
that some people must think I must be a cokehead because I'm constantly scratching at my fucking nostrils.
That's why we think that. Among other possible reasons.
Is it because I talk at 100 miles an hour? It's when I get excited.
Yeah, this has nothing to
What
do
else
with
did
it.
you get? G0.
We have a bunch of G0s in our house because of my wife having gone through that surgery. So now that
What'd she do? What'd she do?
She was like, "Get me some G0s," and then I gave her. While I was in the grocery store, I gave her a picture of the big.
Oh, that comes with like 24?
Yeah. And she's like, go to town. So we have a big case of G0s, and I'm like, okay, that'll be a good downer after our energy drink.
Downer.
Both no calories.
Speaking of downers, Stranger Things.
Obi
Nope,
Wan.
we're not talking about that. We're talking about Obi Wan.
Which was a huge downer, right, Rob?
Did you do any research about who won out the weekend? Obi Wan and Stranger Things? I'm genuinely curious as to see who won.
Stranger Things was able to make someone's music big.
Wow. That's interesting. Someone's music big. So it's, hi, I'm Rob. This is my fucking co-host, Tonto. Make music big.
There's my call sign for the rest of the year.
Tonto. Someone coming.
Is that racist? No.
I don't think, yeah. Because
So
But you know what?
Canada has been embracing
you can get there. Come on.
Aboriginals. Is that wrong?
That's kind of racist.
No, aboriginality.
Aboriginality.
Nationality. I totally
Aboriginal
respect
nationality.
the culture.
You would have made a great rapper. But I forgot totally. All right, it doesn't matter. The point is, Tonto was super racist, and then when Johnny Depp played him,
Tonto wasn't.
no,
But the use of
Tonto,
that,
yeah. But then Johnny Depp kind of whitewashing the Tonto character.
that was bad. Yeah.
They at least should have made that Tonto like a Cherokee Indian guy who embraced like the kind of the could bring out the real Cherokee of it. Like when you watch a movie like I believe it's called Thunderheart, it's a Val Kilmer movie. Speaking of Val Kilmer, and Graham Greene were in it. It was great. It's a great movie about like Native Indian stuff and Cherokee Indian stuff. And I wish they brought that to
Well,
like
that guy
Tonto.
that was in the army that did the dialect, not dialect. Was listening to the radio, just in general, the Beatles. What? while in the army. No. Oh, geez, what is it called?
Morse code?
Yeah. Well, no, they were intercepting the signals, and he was one of the people that would try to figure it out, try to transcribe it or something. I don't know.
That's a great story.
This is how my brain works, Rob. You agreed to do this podcast with me. It's your fault.
How much of your brain is just like running out, and then I say something sarcastic to piss you off, and the energy level goes up, and then it starts going down again.
Go back to Tonto.
But yeah, Tonto was racist. But for me, I feel like that Lone Ranger movie was terrible. Did you ever watch that? Oh
no,
man,
I didn't need to.
It was bad.
How bad it was. Yeah.
It was so long, and so. What's fucked up is you're watching. So you know it's a Disney movie.
Great for Obi Wan.
So you're watching
Disney.
You're watching Lone Ranger, and Lone Ranger's brother gets shot, and then the guy that shoots him comes up and takes a knife and cuts into his chest and pulls his heart out, and then they eat his heart, and you're like, "What the fuck movie are we watching? Like this is demented. Like this shouldn't be in a fucking Disney movie." But then the fact that nobody can recognize him when he's got a little thing, I was like, "That's fucking stupid." And the Tonto thing, none of the jokes land, and it's like watching a wet fart. It's like, remember we were talking with Top Gun. I thought I'd be sitting there being like, oh, you're watching Lone Ranger. You're like, I am bored. Like this is boring. But
well, you know what isn't boring? Obi Wan.
To us, excuse me, hate I have seen for this show has been comical.
Really?
Because. And this is something I was explaining on my other more successful podcast that has my name in the title. Rob's Monster Penis.com.
One viewer himself.
Just me. Or no, it's somebody Bobble Robble. Who's that guy?
He just talks to himself in the shower and records it.
And then I have like
on his phone
dildo like suction cup to the wall and I pretend that's
me. Where the microphone is.
Oh, it's perverse.
Obi Wan.
So yeah. Star Wars fans are
awful.
They are. They're really insufferable.
There are those people on the internet that like to go on to Yahoo. Yahoo. That's old. No, I meant YouTube. YouTube, and then just the YouTube commenters. Yeah.
Oh, but the thing that confuses me and will always confuse me, I think, about Star Wars fans is. So it's obvious I'm a big Star Wars fan. I got a whole arm full of Star Wars tattoos, and it's going to be finished eventually to the bottom. Now, I love Star Wars, right? I love the way it made me feel as a kid. I love the way, I love the movies. I love watching them. I love sharing them. I love discussing them. All that stuff. Love that. Clearly, you can't see it, but behind the camera here is a whole bunch of Star Wars garbage. That doesn't mean that I can't see the bad stuff about Star Wars. It's like when you love a sports team, you can see the members of that sports team that aren't as good, or you can see where they failed in history. Like, you're not going to sit there and go, the Leafs are the very, very best. Like, no, the Leafs haven't won a fucking Stanley Cup in, 35 fucking years?
The best fans can accept the faults.
Exactly. That's the best way to put it. You know, much, much shorter and concise and succinct than I would be. But that's exactly it. That the best fans can accept the parts that are a bit of a failure. Star Wars fans are fascinating in that they're insufferable, but
don't mind us. Bye.
If you wanted to do this in your house, we could have gone to like
a bar, anywhere where children weren't allowed.
The movie theater at Top Gun.
But Star Wars fans are insufferable in that they'll consume a Star Wars product ad nauseum. Like, they'll watch a movie. Can you boys shut the fuck up? They'll watch a movie 5 times, and seriously, they'll watch a movie 5 times, and then write out everything they don't like about it. Down to the fact, like, oh my God, did you see
Twitter
that Dr. Evanson had the pig nose and it didn't look right? Oh my God, did you see that Dr. Vanson's eyelashes weren't the same as they were at at minute 32 of the original A New Hope from 1977? It's like, what does that matter? What does that have anything to do with anything? But then they're like, I hate this movie so fucking much. I'm going to buy every version of it that comes out on DVD, and, Blu-ray, and streaming just to compare all of them and find out new things I don't like about it.
They're the same people who read the book of something and then watch the movie and complain all day about it.
I'll complain about that. Sorry, I won't complain about that, but I will compare. Right?
Compare is different than like going, I'm so upset that they didn't do this one act. And
in the book, they did this.
Yeah,
it's like,
because then it would be a
up.
freaking 12-hour movie. It would be Lord of the Rings.
Well, those are the people that were like, it was so stupid in Lord of the Rings how they left out Tom Bombadil. Why? What does Tom Bombadil do? Tell me one part of what's important of Tom Bombadil. Like, you go up to those stupid fucks, and you're like, okay, what did Tom Bombadil do in the story? Anything. Give me anything he added to the plot.
I don't read.
But no, my point is, you ask those people that, and they know there's nothing. Even people like scholars of J.R.R. Tolkien have been like, this is a useless character. You don't need him. And it's the same as Star Wars fans. They love it and they hate it at the same time. And then they love it. They're just like the dark side. Their hate consumes them for the product. It's kind of fascinating to see these people. I'm never going to count myself one of those people. All the stuff about Star Wars that I love, I don't change my mind about it. The prequels are not very good. They're not horrible. They're not the worst thing on the face of the planet that people are fucking, George Lucas ruined my childhood. And
but one level over that.
Yeah, they're perfectly acceptable. They're not very good, but they're fine. No, for me, I'm the only one that is not fine that you're like, this is kind of bad.
This show started off with a recap, and I was surprised at this recap.
I really enjoyed the recap.
Yeah, it was just like, let's go through the prequels and what happened during that. And I thought, well, that's smart, honestly, because if someone really wanted to go through it and be like, oh, there's stuff before. Oh, where's that? They should have put a thing in the bottom saying which movie it was while they were going, so that they could say, so that people could go watch it.
The recap did a great job of showing you the best part of the prequels, because it really was the best part of the prequels.
But what was pertinent to this story?
Yeah. So I really like the recap. And we won't spoil it. We'll just kind of go over like high end stuff, because I'd really, oh my god, this fucking drink, and I babble so much that I'm just so full of air now, hot air.
Every time you have C4, thank you C4 for they didn't send us anything.
You should though.
Yeah, they
just
should.
Don't send us a box of C4.
The fact that every time Rob has C4, he burps so much.
A goddamn sweater, I'm keeping the fucking sweater. Your wife doesn't get it.
Unless it's a 3XL.
Then you can have it. Or I can wear it and I can sleep in it. You think anybody having energy drinks like C4 is going to be 3XL? Those fuckers are going to be running around like cokeheads. Like me, babbling like a fucking cocaine addict. The point is, I want to bring up some of the hatred for Obi Wan that I've read, that once I started reading it, I was like, these are the worst of the Star Wars people. So, Obi Wan Kenobi, we meet him, and he is working effectively on like a crate dragon meat processing plant.
Yeah.
Okay. So on this process, now let's remember, everybody. I understand.
I learned about crate dragons from
The Mandalorian.
That too. I think there was crate dragons in Knights of the Old Republic.
There were. Yeah.
I think you had to kill one.
There were also in A New Hope.
And I think the same area was in Knights of the Old Republic. Was it the same area?
There were a couple of Knights of the Old Republic.
Is that Mos Eisley?
I wouldn't mind checking out their area. You know what I'm saying? The Twi'lek girls.
If we could get with a Twilight girl, not at the same time, like separate ones.
I'd be fine.
I'm not into that.
I'm fine with that. You have one end, I'll have the other end. We'll fucking like you two.
You grab one and I grab
like
the
Top
other.
Gun high-fiving each other as best we can.
You just grab that thing.
Imagine that you could be like pigtails and hang on to them.
Yeah.
But then what if you yanked her hand and like fucking rips her scalp right off?
Speaking of misogyny.
How is that misogynistic? How is it misogynistic to talk about doggy style and pulling on pigtails?
As some people would say that is showing your misogyny by thinking that you can just grab someone's hair while you're doing it.
Okay, that's a good point.
Assuming.
So the next time
Glad we got into this with.
I'm having sex with a Twi'lek. with a Twi'lek, the next time I'm having sex with one of the women in my life, I'm going to be right in the middle of it going, sorry, excuse me, is it acceptable for me to grab at your hair in a pulling nature? I guarantee she's going to turn around and be like, yes, that would be fine. I appreciate you asking me that and for my permission.
Yeah.
And then you'd be like,
no, you have to stop. You have to pause what you're doing.
so they can ponder and pause it and consider. And then I'd be like, eh.
You can't assume that you can continue with.
But if I say ass, that's what gets me back up and running. If I was to sit there and ponder and wait, I'm old, so parts of me would be like, dude, you paused? That means you're done?
I know.
Done. Yeah, getting old is no fun. I know no young people are watching this, but getting old is...
Your sons.
It's the last thing I need. Oh, is Dad talking about his dick again? Great.
Yeah. Every episode.
You have to cut all this out. Over to Obi Wan. So Obi Wan's sitting processing, like he cuts the meat.
They just come back to me going,
Obi Wan cuts his meat.
yeah. Oh.
Folds it into a little thing and then puts it into his apron.
Yeah.
Right? Because he's going to take it home to his Eopie. He wipes off his knife, puts his knife into the sheath that he has in his pocket, and then walks to the gonk droid to stamp himself out. Right?
Okay, sure.
The complaints that I saw in more than one of this scene. The first one, are they just going to leave that meat on that table all night? That's really unsanitary, was one.
I actually thought that. I did.
It's
I'm just like,
a movie
this looks so unsanitary.
Porgs and Ewoks and crate dragons and space
the
wizards.
The situation's going to be unsanitary no matter what.
Do you think bacteria exists in the fucking world of Star Wars?
You think I was thinking while watching this is that how do you afford anything in this world?
With credits. Or no, credits don't apply.
Everything is so expensive, but also everything is expensive looking. Oh, I get a ship? How am I going to get a ship? A whole fucking ship.
Well, you have to rent one. That's why they needed to rent one in A New Hope. Remember, they rented the Millennium Falcon.
But they had money.
They didn't. They lied. They sold Luke's fucking land speeder for it. They said they were going to give him $17,000, and they sold it for $2,000.
I'm just saying, I can't afford my Netflix subscription. How am I going to afford a fucking spaceship?
Maybe you should steal it.
To get a credit line.
Can you imagine Star Wars banks coming here for a line of credits?
It's just the stuff they don't talk about. It's like Game of Thrones, the big bank
that
thing.
is the Star Wars show that you and I should come up with. Star Wars Banks of the Galaxy.
Actually, it could be interesting. Put it on Disney Plus.
But imagine how many nerds would be like, they don't have that many credits.
All the tellers are Twi'leks.
The last time that I saw them selling a Wookiee Bantahide, it was 4 credits. And in a book from 1982 where they sold a Wookiee pelt, it was 2.5 credits.
I want all our tellers, and I don't know if I'm going to say this right. I want them all to be Hanhars. Oh.
What the fuck's a Hanhar?
That might have been his name, not the species. I'm not sure. But they're like these big pink blobs that on like big columned legs. They look like camels, but they're all pink. It's actually in, oh shit.
That's episode 10.
It's not in Star Wars.
Episode 10. Oh shit.
It's not in Star Wars.
Jesus
It's
Christ.
in Mass Effect.
But back to Star Wars. So the other thing that people said they didn't like was Obi-Wan wipes off his knife and puts it into his sheath, and people were like, "That's a really unsanitary way to take care of your knife. Also, it's going to go dull." And I was like, "Jesus Christ. You fucking people will find anything to complain about. Anything." Like, these are the type of people that are like, ugh. I mean, Obi-Wan's walking through the desert. Or, sorry, he's riding his Eopie through the desert. That sand gets really, really hot. That Eopie is probably going to need to sit down. Like, it's a fantasy world. And it made me understand.
Why can't that happen off camera?
But it's also, if whatever the issue you're bringing up is not important to the overall narrative of the story, what does it matter? Mm-hmm. You know, like that's what, like there are some genuine things that like,
Just
okay,
being
that's kind of
picky because
stupid.
you would know a certain point of knowledge that you could never use before, and then finally you get to use it.
That's the fucking people that are like, in the book they didn't do this. It's like, dude, shut the fuck up. No one fucking cares if you read the book and saw the movie. Big fucking deal. Lots of people did. Does the movie tell a good story? Does the book tell a good story? It's all that matters, right?
All that matters is if you've played Mass Effect.
That's right, because I've got a massive erect all the time because of those pink things called hobjobs.
Hand
or whatever you
bars.
say. Hand bars. But so no, but
Obi-Wan.
I really enjoyed it. The one thing that I really enjoyed, and it was actually the thing that I was scared of the most, was I didn't want Luke has a cold and he's sick. That's why Obi-Wan has to come out hiding, or Darth Vader just shows up, so Obi-Wan has to come out hiding. I like that they made it. I did not expect that Leia was going to be the reason why he comes out of hiding. I was like, that I did not expect. That was cool.
Yeah, but this is a whole new. I'm surprised you're not complaining that this is another Grogu situation. They got another cute entity to be like, we're bringing in people because it's cute.
Right, but what else would it? I feel like that one thing is the least problematic that they could do.
Yeah.
Because I
It
see
worked
everybody's
before.
bitching about fucking Leia in the hologram, saying you fought for my father in the Clone Wars, and now I need you again, blah blah blah. And everyone's like, you fought for my father in the Clone Wars. Also, we had an adventure when I was 10 years old. Why would she bring that up in that
Exactly.
hologram? Like it's
Exactly.
stupid. But that's why it made sense for her, because Luke is not supposed to know that he's just supposed to think that Obi-Wan's some old hermit, right? Luke is not supposed to know anything about him outside of he's this old hermit. But Leia knows the whole history of Obi-Wan Kenobi. So it would make sense that maybe she saw him again.
Guess what? Your neighbor next door, that would be your neighbor,
He lives beside me.
has a story. They had something special happen to them once or twice, and you don't know about it.
I hope it involves.
If you say erect penises again,
That insinuates that's all I talk about is erect penises.
It
which
is.
isn't
We
too
get
far
off
from the truth.
camera. It's just like, have you seen that erect penis over there?
I've drawn them all over my walls.
Especially when we're in the movie theater, you're just like, that guy coming,
Hey, Phil, look at this dick.
and then I walk the other way. Oh, are you Phil?
He's talking to you.
Oh, Obi-Wan. Okay, there's an issue with the bad chick in this.
Reva?
Yeah, what's that issue currently? Do you know what's going on?
No.
Oh shit! I should have brought it with me. I thought you would know.
I love how prepared
We should just cut right
you
here
come to
and
this
then come
podcast.
back.
Cut, and we're back after learning about
Moses Ingram.
Moses Ingram,
That's
who
the
plays
one thing I can take from.
who plays Reva, who is a third sister, I believe, of the Inquisitors.
Inquisitors are cool.
Yeah, and what's cool about the Inquisitors is I don't know if you know this. Do you know what the Inquisitors are? They are former.
They're not Jedis.
They were.
Oh, were they?
They're former Jedi.
I thought just she was.
No, Inquisitors are former Jedi that could turn to the
I
dark
thought that was
side.
going to be the reveal later on in the series.
I thought
Like,
that was-
she's a Jedi.
Yeah, that's one thing. I believe you learned that about the Inquisitors
She
in the
was
show
taught
Rebels.
by what's his face,
But-
but wasn't saved by him.
So
She was one of those kids that ran away during the intro.
Yeah.
I really don't know.
everybody's also bitching about the opening with the Order 66. All it's supposed to do is remind it that Order 66 happened, which doesn't make a lot of sense because every fucking Star Wars fan is going to know that Order 66 happened.
So Moses Ingram is
Reva.
and she's been getting a lot of hate, and they've been going to the race card.
Again, I'm not going to blame toxic only Star Wars fans. These are just terrible toxic people. If you're a racist person, you're a piece of shit.
Yeah. You've already lost the battle.
It is, oh man, what's the right way to say this? It is fine and it is good to notice the differences in people. We shouldn't be a big homogenized group of people. That sucks because then you don't get to enjoy food from different places, learning different languages, learning different customs.
I agree.
That's what makes it an incredible world. That's what makes
we're getting
life worth living.
Ukrainians in Kingston currently.
Ooh. Ooh.
Yeah.
And I bet they'd have good food. That's one thing. So being fatter
We're
now
just
than I was.
around.
Food is the second thing that I love the idea of all sorts of different races, because all the different food is amazing. Holy moly, it's an alarm. It's a race alarm. Fuck. There we are.
Should be over by now.
I've had all sorts of different ethnicities of friends throughout my life, and food has been one of the best parts of it. Is all the different food that you get to have. It's amazing.
On a previous podcast of ours, he mentioned that a story about his friend and spicy food.
One thing about that friend as well, which is the first reason that we were that her and I were good friends, was
sorry.
Oh my goodness!
I assumed
she was
attractive.
Is a ludicrously. Now I'm talking like Phil. Ludicrously attractive woman.
I knew it was someone you were interested in.
As a pervert, that is. I don't understand perverts who can be racist. Because different ethnicities of women, in my case, because I'm heterosexual,
I see where you're going.
Look gorgeous and have all sorts of different
Brazilians,
Indian girls with how gorgeous their eyes are, Asian
Mia
girls,
Khalifa,
right? Like all these women that
she's great. She has a great mind.
If you were just to stick to white women, and not that there's anything wrong with white women.
Women are so boring.
But if you were to, you'd be like. Kind of gets boring after a while, but when you have your stomps down, what are you talking about?
I thought I told you.
So that's why I could never be racist, but I will, if you listen to my far more successful podcast that I do away from Phil,
jerk in the shower. That's
jerk in the shower.
Jerk in the shower.
A jerk in the shower.
It means
just
two
all me
things.
showering. I constantly make jokes at Leslie's expense about Leslie being half Chinese. And we constantly joke about it, but I've never...
And I cringe right? when I'm standing there, like, I can't add to this one.
But I've never, and hopefully haven't ever been interpreted as saying anything seriously. I always love to, make an example of Blazing Saddles, the best comedy ever made. Blazing Saddles is so goddamn funny, and the racism in it is so hilariously funny, but only if you realize that it's a joke. If you're not in on the fact that it's a joke, you might be seriously offended by that movie. But that movie is perfection. That movie is a 10 out of 10.
It's an example of something that just, like you've said in the past, cannot be
can't
done
be made
today
again.
because it just, a version of it could, dealing with current day stuff.
I think
it would probably make fun of. Well, I don't even know if you could get away with that. I would say make fun of gays and stuff like that, but you probably couldn't get away with it.
I think
too
because
much wokeism.
Nobody could be in on the joke now. Yeah, there's too much wokeism. You couldn't make a joke like that now.
But that's because we also understand that you might be okay hearing these and understanding that they're jokes, but there's going to be a huge amount of people that will take it to heart and,
of course,
and possibly hurt themselves. And we don't want to add to
or be supportive of that.
Make it worse for someone who's like, I understand to a point that fuck the people that can't take themselves away from other things that are going to affect them.
Mm-hmm.
Like to a point, like why are you going to see Top Gun if Tom Cruise sets you off?
Right. And it's like the people who, and I know one thing I've discussed on my far more successful podcast, we talked about the new Father of the Bride coming out. And the new Father of the Bride is very Latin and Italian focused. And I was like, you know what? That would be great if it wasn't a couple of white executives going, what properties do we have from the 90s that people will remember the name so they'll just shell in to see? Great. Get a script together. Does it hit all the key points that we need? Product placement's good. Great. Who stars in it? Doesn't matter. Don't care. Let's find an angle and go after it. I don't think it has anything to do with Spanish or Italian culture. And maybe I'm totally fucking wrong, which would be great.
What you're saying is if they're just shoving it in there because you got to be woke right now.
That's right.
Then that's the wrong way to do it.
Correct.
But if you actually do it, put it in as a smart way, Somehow
to be
put it there.
a celebration of Italian culture. Watching The Godfather, watching Crazy Rich Asians, watching movies that show you, or shows that show you elements of a race that you might not know a lot about. It's fucking fascinating to watch stuff like that. To me, it's fascinating, and that's why racist people, whether I hate, you know what? I hate that there are racist Star Wars fans far more.
I hate that there's racist anything.
Far more than I hate insufferable Star Wars fans. Insufferable Star Wars fans are just assholes, but racist Star Wars fans, racist anything, yeah, like you said, you're human garbage.
It goes to the whole point of like what we've discussed before in terms of the Freedom Convoy. It's like you're just doing it just to have an outlet for your hate. And like when you just do stuff for an outlet for your hate instead of having a smart idea, then you're doing it wrong.
Yep.
No matter
absolutely.
what. No matter where your outlet is.
Yeah, so racism is bullshit.
Don't go on the internet and start using race when you're talking about something completely different. If you don't like her acting, fine. Say you don't like her acting.
Talking about like again, how can you be? It's like the people who brought up that John Boyega. There wouldn't be any black stormtroopers. It's a fucking movie about space wizards and Wookiees. And you're complaining about
aliens
race.
all over the place, and you're talking about one what humans is one species that's out there, and you're why I'm mad that we see other aliens out there that don't have different races,
right? And this is where Star Trek comes in, right? And where Gene Roddenberry was so focused on the diversity of the Enterprise and the diversity of the other people that they would go into. The fact they didn't allow gay people in Star Trek is something else, but that's a whole other conversation. But the point is, Star Trek introduced and should have introduced sci-fi fans. I don't think there were a lot of I'd like to hope that there weren't a lot of racist sci-fi fans, but it introduced black kids can be here and Chinese kids and Russian kids and everybody mixed together in a big fucking soup, and it's what makes the universe great.
I will put out the point that
you will put out
awesome. I'm here every week. At some point,
guess who guests on the next episode of A Jerk in the Shower? The Phil.
I got the soap. If it makes sense that a species would come into Star Trek or Star Wars and be one race, because if you think about it, the longer a species exists, the more likely that they're going to eventually become one race. Yeah, because eventually that's what our species is going to do. It's all going to be one, whatever color it ends up being.
Yep.
Just because as we become more accepting of mixing races.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
This is why we've switched to hating on gay people. This is why we're switched. After that, I don't even know what's going to come after.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's always something people need to hate.
I think if I was a betting man, which I'm not because I'm anti-bet or anti gambling.
You know what you say?
Anti-gambler.
Why gamble when you can jerk?
It's true. That's what I do in the shower. Yeah. Usually in the shower, I'm gambling on standing up straight and not slipping in the showers. I'm jacking off. I forgot where I was going with this.
Why are people still listening?
But it had to do with masturbation.
It
didn't have to do with masturbation.
This is a perfect example of the ADHD podcast that is watching him play.
I think the next... So racism is bad. We've all shot that down. Sexism is bad.
It's still there, but
it's still there, but it's recognized it's not a good thing now. I think the next thing that's going to be...
And so is gay bashing. Like...
Gay, yeah. I don't see a lot of gay bashing, but maybe it's just the circles I keep.
Not as much. There used to be.
I think the next big thing is going to be ageism. I don't know why. Maybe it's just as I get older, but I feel like ageism is going to be the next big thing that people are like, you can't do that. And we have like fucking public service announcements about it. I just feel like, I don't know why, because it's the next big pointless thing to be angry about.
Don't let Karens be sad. Stop using the word Karen.
That's great. What do they bring up? That
I said Karen.
Saying Karen is as bad as saying the N-word. And the guy's like, I don't think that's true. Because you're saying the word Karen and you're saying the N-word.
Also, if your name is Karen and you're complaining about the Karen issues,
Fuck you.
then you just don't get it.
Also, if your name is Karen, my wife's name is Karen, so I can make whatever fun of this fucking name that I want to.
That doesn't make
If
it
you're
right.
a Karen,
It doesn't make anything
and my
right.
son always says that. My son will always go, so I saw this thing about Karens, and Mom, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about Karens. Your name is Karen, but you're not. Every time. He's got to fucking describe that to her, which is quite funny. But
Actually, yes, I would laugh every time I heard
it's
that.
great. I had a Karen there. So we were walking the other day. We were downtown
This has
Kingston.
something to do with Obi Wan, I swear.
And we were walking to the and I was talking and paying attention. I didn't realize that Zelda had pooped. Now, if Zelda poops, which is our dog, not a kid, if Zelda poops, of course I'm going to clean it up. I always clean it up, right? I didn't realize she had. So this Karen goes walking by me. I hope you can clean it up. Like that.
And she was in a different race.
And she was so fucking angry. I was like, what? Oh, Zelda pooped. Thank you for letting me know. I said like that to her, trying to be as sarcastic and obnoxious as I could. But you could have gone, hey, dude, your dog pooped. Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
huh?
Okay, great. You don't need to be an obnoxious bitch of a person.
Can I put this in perspective? There was someone on my street that I was like, oh, that person's acting a little weird, but whatever. She walks her dog and is kind of out there. And one day, she's really nice, but she's still out there. And one day she walked by us and just her dog pooped and she kept going. I'm like, should I say, like, fuck you, pick up your dog's poop? Because I hate that. But then I was like, I'll let it slide because like I don't see this normally happen with her.
Maybe she just missed it or something.
I found out later, like the next week, that she has dementia.
Oh.
And because I ended up helping her get back to her house because she had no clue. She often can't find her way back to her house. And I'm glad that I know this now because then I can help her if I ever see her having an issue. But in that, if I would have been mean, which I'm not usually mean, but if I even like pointed it out and made her feel bad, I would feel even worse knowing, like, not that people with dementia shouldn't be told pick up the dog poop, but I mean, like,
You could have said that to my mother when she was in the throes of dementia. She would have been like, who are you? I have a dog.
What's dog poop?
Where's my dog?
Dogs poop too? We make fun of dementia because we have it.
Also, my mom had dementia, so I'm allowed to make fun of it. Dementia
My point
and
is,
Alzheimer's.
be nice to people.
Yep.
Like, don't assume the worst,
You know what? I'm okay with assuming the worst, but I totally
but don't act on it.
I totally agree with be nice before being mean. Sometimes you do have to be mean, and that sucks.
God, I have to edit this episode.
Why? This is all
40
important.
minutes in and we haven't talked hardly about Obi Wan.
This is all important Obi Wan Kenobi news.
Did I just
What
do
the
that?
fuck?
Wow.
Speaking of some of the dog shit
I
all
went
over
like
the
this,
place,
and it was like on my hand.
you were like, "Fuck this table."
And so you should have seen what was under the table.
Forgot what I was going to say. So let's get back to Obi-Wan. But no, I have so far been enjoying it. I do see the shortcomings of it. The slob. The Leia thing. Like the Leia running. the Leia running and like a 10-year-old running away in the woods is not going to be that fast.
It reminded me of what happened with in Halo with what's her name when they were doing drugs in the intro.
Oh, Cookie Kwan?
Yeah, I was wondering if this kid was gonna die.
But she's running like and the guys behind her are like that was stupid. I'm like, guys, you could have edited this a lot better than you did.
The kid reminds me of the kid in Monsters Inc.
Oh, Boo.
It's cute.
Yeah, I was fine. One thing, Joel Edgerton is spectacular as Owen Lars. Fuck, I love that guy. He is such a good actor. He's a really good director too.
Who's that? Owen Lars?
Owen Lars, like Uncle Owen, Luke's uncle.
Oh yeah.
Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi. I disagree with some things that Ewan McGregor has done in his life, but he is a fantastic actor. He is a fantastic Obi-Wan Kenobi. And so far, all of the actors, including the name Moses Neimer came into my head. I know that's not the girl's name. The girl who plays Reva, Moses Ingram,
Moses Ingram, I believe. So, yeah.
She's great. Everybody's great. Kumail Nanjiani does his role.
That was surprising, and it worked.
Yeah, it does work, and that's what I like. And I think it's because this movie, this TV show, effectively movie, but this show has a female director. I think a female director's just her sense of action is going to be different than a Michael Bay's or even like a Jon Favreau or a Dave Filoni. Action is going to be a bit different. She's going to envision it a bit differently, which is fucking awesome because I love the idea of Obi Wan not just being a guy. I love him thinking, slowing down, thinking. Let's be logical about this. I really like that about it. The one thing that so like I said, the Leia thing kind of nitpicky, but the one thing that stands out that bothers me is Reva should not know that Anakin Skywalker is Darth Vader. And she said Anakin Skywalker lives. I'd have to watch it again, but I believe she didn't say that Anakin Skywalker is Darth Vader. She might have. I don't remember. But I know she said Anakin Skywalker's still alive. And in the...
I don't know if he's known as Darth Vader yet in that time.
Oh, no.
Is he?
Well, in episode 3, right, he says, you're now Darth Vader. But Obi-Wan thought he left him for dead on Mustafar, right? But my problem is only from the comics, or not the comics, I'm sorry, from the mythology that Pablo Hidalgo looks after, only Emperor Palpatine and Grand Moff Tarkin are supposed to know that Anakin Skywalker is Darth Vader.
Okay, so it's just Anakin, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, how does she know this? Now, I know there have been a couple of people, like in comic books and in the books, that have exposed that Anakin Skywalker is Darth Vader, and Darth Vader wiped all of them out, wiped out all the clone troopers, wiped out the people, wiped out anybody that might know about it. So maybe it's going to be like that.
I'm assuming that she was trained by Anakin.
The Padawan? No, I don't think so. I mean, I might be wrong, but as an Inquisitor, I think she was just a Jedi that was probably like in the Jedi Temple when the Order 66 came out, and she was like, fine, tortured, turns to the dark side. But regardless, that was the only thing that I'm like, she's not supposed to know that, but I'll let it go because I know it's supposed to be part of the narrative, and maybe it'll go somewhere, maybe it won't. In the grand scheme of things, it won't matter, but that's the only thing so far that's bothered me. Not that fucking, look at that knife, that's not very sanitary. Fucking idiots.
I'm just glad that they got away from, what is it, Mos Eisley?
Yeah, Mos Eisley, yeah.
Because they keep going back to Mos Eisley. I'm just like,
Did you know that the girl that comes up and gives Obi-Wan the thing of spice? Remember that one part? She's got like the tattoos all over the side of her head or the marks all over the side of her head. She gives him drugs and on that planet.
Okay, yeah.
You know that's his daughter in real life.
Oh, okay.
Which I thought was kind of neat. But yes, Obi-Wan is a definite watch. It's just been...
I want to see where it's going.
Yeah, it's been very methodical, very... Not slow is not the right word, but it's not been a big action. It's not been the absolute shit show that was Moon Knight. That absolute mistake of a show.
Star Wars has been doing it right.
Well,
Mandalorian was great.
Book of Boba Fett fell off a little bit. I loved it, but it fell off a little bit. Book of Boba Fett felt like Star Wars pornography. It was like, remember this guy, remember this guy, remember this guy.
Yes, it was. It was very. Yes, Easter egg.
Yes, had lots of Easter eggs because of Mos Eisley celebrating.
Yeah, they like bunnies.
Jesus Christ, and remember, Anakin Skywalker was Jesus, and he's risen, and they're like, have some lightsaber eggs
that they got from the crate dragon.
That's right. The crate dragon poops out little chocolate Easter eggs.
And one was too big. Crate dragon died. Now we cut them up.
Now we get some meat.
First episode.
On an unsanitary table. How awesome would it be that in the end of this, somebody that on that crate dragon processing plant dies of like bacterial infection?
Yeah.
But yes, absolutely watch Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's a lot of fun.
I would love it just to be explained. They're just like, we put it through the machine. What? It's fine. This
bacteria.
All the bacteria goes away after you put it through the machine.
You do not have tuberculosis.
Gonorrhea.
You do not have gonorrhea.
Crate dragon gonorrhea.
Crate dragon gonorrhea.
Well, 45 minutes in, I'm going to have to edit this. So
I wouldn't bother. Definitely watch Obi Kenobi.
We're going to keep on touching
ourselves on screen.
Touching on this throughout our podcast.
To see more touching of ourselves, watch my separate podcast, A Jerk in the Shower.
Jerk in the shower. A jerk in the shower sounds better, actually. I like that. Let's get that.
Web
A jerk in the shower. Look it up. I bet it exists.
There's gonna be a picture of me.
All right. Yeah, we'll continue watching this and talking about it in the podcast. When it's done, we'll do a full review, like we did with Halo.
I will spoil one thing. Obi Wan dies. Not in this show, but eventually.
It just like dies. Oh, episode 2? It's called Obi Wan. We can't continue.
So Keith, on my other better podcast, Keith brought up that he walked into
Was he in the shower?
He's way too tall, man. He would have to fucking hunch over.
He's taller than me.
Keith, yeah, he's about 6'3", 6'4".
That's what I am. Thank you.
Oh, he's taller than you. He's like 6'4".
Then he must like 6'4", 6'5". Yeah.
And he's better than you. More handsome, bigger penis, makes for a jerk in the shower much better. But my point is, I forgot what I was talking about. Wait. Oh, yeah. So he walked in on a class where the teacher was reading the first Harry Potter book to the students. And just to be a dick, he goes, is this the one where Harry Potter dies at the end? And it was the first one, right? Harry Potter Philosopher's Stone. And the whole class is like, gasp. And then there's one kid, and it was the EA that was reading it. The one kid looks at the EA and is like, is it true that Harry Potter dies at the end of it? And the EA goes, there are 7 other books called Harry Potter and no, he doesn't die at the end of it.
Well, you never know. It is fantasy.
But
he can come back.
I thought that was super funny. But that's a Keith joke, not a me joke.
He took his joke.
And if I took his joke, I could say hashtag me joke.
Jerk in the shower.
Hashtag a jerk in the shower.
Watching complain.com. If you enjoyed this,
You didn't.
press subscribe, like, follow,
Tweet.
TikTok.
Is that what do you call it on TikTok?
Talk it. There's far more. There's lots on TikTok.
Yeah, there's lots of TikTok.
Watch, complain about watching on TikTok. Just look it up. You know what? If you're watching this on YouTube, if you go to the bottom in the description, it has all our links.
Do you need to say that again because I burped during it?
No, you burp all the time.